Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you so much for joining us. I've seen Timberwolf, I've seen Brian, I've seen Joel Ferguson, I've seen Adrian Leon, Samian111. It's awesome to see everybody out there. We are going to get started. We have a very special guest in the studio today. Well, via Skype, via technology. Marissa Roberto is joining us, and we're going to talk about the rundown stories, but we got to get through the rundown first so we can have something to talk about, and then we'll catch up with Marissa. This rundown, by the way, is dedicated to our old friend Gigaforce, who says it's another fantastic season, talking about season 3 that we just uploaded. Thank you for uploading these. I can't wait until you hit 40K so we can see season 4. You won't have to wait that long. Season 4 starts on Saturday, but let's get started with your rundown. Far Cry 5 is getting a very cool and very customizable online mode. This is something we've been dying to tell you guys about. Ubisoft has officially announced Far Cry Arcade, a new online multiplayer mode and level editor for Far Cry 5. Users will be able to make their own custom levels for multiplayer matches, as well as single-player and co-op experiences, and then fill those levels with characters, weapons, vehicles, and other assets from the game, like bears and yetis. One of the most interesting things about the creation tools is that they don't just include assets from Far Cry 5, but also other Ubisoft franchises like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, which makes this a much bigger experience than the level editors in previous Far Cry games. Ubisoft is also planning to update Far Cry Arcade with a steady stream of new content as part of their embrace of the games as service model. Far Cry 5 launches March 27th, as if you needed another reason to be excited about that game. Now, Marvel's Black Panther has shattered another record at the box office, but there's one important market it has yet to conquer. The heroic movie has now earned more than $500 million domestically and almost $900 million worldwide, making it the 9th highest grossing movie of all time. Congratulations. We need some cheering sound effects, I think, on the show. The fact that Black Panther has cracked the top 10 so early in its theatrical run is pretty impressive, and it's just the latest in a long line of accomplishments of the film. However, there's still one big challenge on the horizon. Black Panther will open in China this Friday, and it's unclear how well it will do in the country. Previous Marvel movies have done well there, but other big blockbusters like the Star Wars films have done terribly, so it will be interesting to see if Chinese audiences love Black Panther as much as the rest of the world. We'll keep you posted. Now, Black Panther isn't the only black superhero headlining his own adventure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel and Netflix have announced that Luke Cage Season 2 will premiere on June 22nd. Like the first season, it will consist of 13 brand new episodes, and we'll see the super strong Luke Cage struggle with his newfound fame as a superhero following the events of last year's crossover series, The Defenders, which was bad. Marvel and Netflix have had great success with their collaborations, having produced no less than 6 separate shows, all of which have been renewed for multiple seasons. Sadly, the partnership will likely come to an end when Marvel's parent company Disney launches their own streaming service in 2019. Marissa and I will talk about that in a second. The makers of some of the biggest indie games are turning to Kickstarter to get their next project off the ground. The makers of some of the biggest indie games, right? Game maker Jules Watsham and his company Atui, which worked on hits like Zeo Drifter and Mutant Mudds, has launched a Kickstarter campaign for their next game. It's called Chicken Wiggle Workshop and is a Switch version of their recent 3DS platformer Chicken Wiggle. It's not just a straight-up port, though. The 8-bit style pixel art is being changed to a hand-drawn aesthetic, and there is also some more in-depth level editing tools and new music. Now, Jules Watsham says that they're using Kickstarter because the changes they want to make will cost some real money, obviously, and making games is always a financially risky endeavor, especially for smaller companies like Atui. Jules is awesome, though. He makes great games. Excited to talk about that with Marissa. It turns out dreams can really come true in Hollywood, even if you have absolutely no talent. The Room writer, director, star, producer, and financier Tommy Wiseau has announced his next big screen project. It's a bleak crime thriller called Scary Love, and we'll see Wiseau play a bounty hunter struggling to track down his long-lost love. Oh boy. Wiseau didn't actually direct the film, but he does play the lead, and if you've seen The Room, you already know everything you need to know about his acting chops. This is Wiseau's first project after the release of the James Franco movie, The Disaster Artist, which thrust The Room into the mainstream by showing audiences a fictionalized look behind the scenes of The Room. Scary Love will arrive later this year. We've got lots to talk about in our rundown today, and joining me is our old friend Marissa Roberto, who has never looked better and never had a cooler living room. Look at that. That's so fancy back there. It's amazing.
I know, yeah. I invested a lot of money.
Yes,
just did
good.
it up, you know.
I can't wait
My
to see the
hydro
rest
bill
of
is
your
insane.
apartment. No, obviously she's
take your
joining
own.
us from the set of her own show. It's called HUD. We're
Yeah.
going to find out about that. But let's talk about the stuff in the rundown. Have you seen The Room, my friend?
I haven't. I've only seen clips that Blake has shown me over the years, and then so I knew. I mean, I got the gist of it. I've seen clips, and then yeah, I was really happy to see the great reviews on Disaster Artist, but have not dived in.
Well, you cannot see The Disaster Artist without seeing The Room. And
Right.
if you want to have traffic grow on your YouTube channel, on your personal one, just shoot yourself watching The Room, because it's ridiculous. Blake did that for me, and I couldn't believe what the hell I was watching. It was ridiculous. It was so nuts and so stupid. But people liked watching me go through this punishment, and I think they will with you as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, you know what, the most views I usually get are with me reacting to something, and then you also get the people like, whatever, this is just a baiting reacting video. It's like, well, this is what plays on YouTube, so
Yes.
like gets the views.
Yes, it is. Yeah, YouTube is all about that personal reaction kind of thing. Well,
And you have to have like the screen grab that's like,
yeah, totally. This
You're
guy
doing it.
is, I mean, when I watched it, I was like, didn't anybody talk to him? Didn't anybody like tell him he can't act and he can't do any of that?
Yeah.
But he has had this charmed existence. He's made something so awful. He's actually turned it into a career for himself.
yeah, because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him, good on him. I guess now they're taking that fame that he has, and so he's going to bring something to this movie. I don't know how that's going to work, though. I guess we're not supposed to take him seriously at all.
No, and I saw him, the last I saw of him, he was begging Mark Hamill for tickets to the Oscars on
No.
Twitter. Yes, it was hilarious. So
God, it doesn't stop.
we will see how this Tommy Wiseau project comes together. Maybe we'll do another reaction screening
Yeah.
of Scary Love, which sounds like the
Yeah,
perfect title for a Wiseau movie.
It's a living meme.
Yes. Now, Far Cry 5, did you know that there was an arcade mode coming to this, the Far Cry
Yes,
arcade?
arcade mode coming. Very excited about that. I mean, all of the trailers that I've seen now for this game have been incredible. You got some hands-on time with though.
Yep.
I know
couple
that.
times. Yeah, it's addictive. It's crazy, you know, over the top production values.
Yeah.
So much content, and this arcade thing, I think, just it takes it to another level, and that's what UB and all the big companies are trying to do. Is they're just trying to lock you in forever now, right? They want you in, and you can't leave. And so, you know,
I know.
it's going to be kind of
I'm
scary.
excited for creators out there, because even like for someone like me, that's exciting to be able to build and custom create a level for someone to enjoy. Like obviously we've seen this in other video games, and that's great. Even with Disney Infinity, I remember going to cover that, and this whole community was behind it, and all they did was build worlds that other players could play in, and then it all got taken away. And so that's my biggest concern really, is to build something like this, have a big community on board, then all of a sudden one day they're like, there's not enough people now, so we're just going to pull the plug. And then all the people that invested their lives in it won't have that anymore.
This is kind of one of their crown jewels. I mean, they've had a lot of success with Rainbow Six Siege and with Ghost Recon Wildlands and The Division. But this is kind of one of their go-to properties, and I think the fidelity of the experience and the stuff that they're going to be able to build within that experience using some of the other IP, it could turn into the biggest thing they've ever made. I mean, it really could.
I mean, it looks like it. And they're putting in everything from other games that were incredible, right?
Yes.
That we could even use items from those games too in this one. So, yeah, I mean, they're throwing everything at it, and I think why not? They should. And I also feel like they're looking at, you know, other games that are doing incredibly well, like Fortnite just totally exploding, and like seeing how much players are going into that. So, I mean, there's a possible battle royale mode that we could see happen as well, because somebody will create that. Yeah, somebody will create that, because why not? This is what everybody's on board with.
Yeah. The other thing too that Far Cry 5 has kind of changed for me, like when it was announced last year, I was a bit kind of nervous about sort of fueling fires of you know, people having, you know, militias and taking up arms and these preppers and stuff like that. And that was pre-Trump getting sort of winning the nomination and then winning the election. And now we're in a post thing, and there's like the gun violence issue is so. This game is going to be so much fuel for the news. It's going to be crazy, but I feel like that's probably a good thing. Keep this conversation going.
For sure. I think it's a good thing for any publisher to get their game on mainstream media, to have mainstream media talking about it, because that means that, guess what, everybody's talking about it, good or bad. So, well, I mean, just like we are all chiming in as gamers, getting like up in arms about this whole like video game causes violence thing. I mean, yes, those things will be back on the news. It'll be, you know, on the top of people's minds. But I mean, that still sells games at the end of the day, because people that play games understand that that's not really the way it works.
Have you seen Black Panther? Let's move on. And what'd you think?
I loved it. I loved it, but I went a week after it came out. So the hype had already been out there. And you know how I feel about hype, where it's just like, relax.
Yes.
So I didn't see any trailers. I didn't watch any reviews until I went in to just preserve myself. And I was really happy. I didn't like that I saw some people commenting that Michael B. Jordan was better than Heath Ledger. Like, why would you make that comparison, first of all?
Yeah.
Really didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I thought he was incredible. I thought the script was lovely. The characters were so wonderful, and you can just, I don't know, I just lived in it when it was happening. I was entertained the entire way through. So I'm not surprised by its success, because it's just a good movie. I don't know if the whole ethnicity thing necessarily needs to even be a conversation. Obviously it is, but I think it's just a good movie on its own. I don't think that you know, the whole, you know, bringing new characters into light or different ethnicities into light needs to even be a conversation. I feel like it's just a good movie.
Well, it totally stands on its own, but I feel like the idea that we've got this you know, group of people that we don't normally see in a superhero genre taking these roles so convincingly and so commandingly, that's what was fresh about it, you know, because we've seen similar kinds of superheroics, but we just haven't seen these kinds of faces and these particular actors take such a command, you know, and they were amazing.
For sure.
Michael B. Jordan was astounding in this movie.
Of course, he always is. You know, I love that Michael B. But I mean, even in what was that horrible movie we saw, Fantastic Four? It was awful, but he was good. Like, he was good. No, I mean, yes, he was fantastic, but it's just like with anything, like any kind of minority, like the fact that we had that incredible Wonder Woman movie, like if that didn't do well, I would have been so devastated, not just for the fact that they ruined Wonder Woman, but that they didn't give this opportunity for a woman superhero, for a superheroine to shine the way she should. And the same thing with Black Panther. It's like, I didn't know the story. I didn't understand the story. I didn't follow the lore at all until I saw him in his moment. And I was so happy that he had a moment, that we actually get to see this now. So I mean, hopefully we'll have more different ethnicities.
Well, you know what? It's just different. I think it's just come up with unique stuff. You know, like games, movies, media, period. Like, we need different ideas and different characters and different stories. And that's what diversity really means. It doesn't just mean skin color and sexual orientation. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It means make it fresh. And that's what Black Panther was, and Wonder Woman was as well, you know?
I agree. Yeah, exactly. I'm 100 with you on this. You know that I am.
Yes.
I wish I could have seen it with you.
I know. That sucks. We were talking during one of our many crashes that seems to happen. Thank you, OBS. About how we don't see the movies like we used to see the movies together. And I miss that very much. I miss you very much. It's crazy to see you right there. I can touch you on the screen, but you're not here with us, which is crazy.
I'm here. I'm in T-Dot.
Yes. And you're having a great time. We're going to get to your amazing success over the last year or so of lots of cool things going on, which I'm very happy for. But let's finish with Jules Watson. With Jules Watson, and I keep butchering his name. Sorry, Jules. I never say his last name. I only say his first name.
But this is like a buddy of yours. Like, you know him, right?
Yeah, I visited him when I was in. He lives in Austin, Texas. And he's a wonderful developer. His history goes back a long way. I think he worked on NBA Jam or something. Like, he's been making games forever. And he went off and said, look, I'm going to go indie and develop games for the DS and the 3DS. So he made Mutant Muds and Zeo Drifter and lots of little games along the way. Dementium, I think, may have been his as well. And he just comes up, he pops up with these new cool concepts all the time. Tried a little bit of iOS stuff. But then I didn't even hear about this chicken wiggle thing, but he reached out and he said, look, we've got this Kickstarter happening. And the thing that I dig about it is that, like, he really puts what he does on his sleeve. Like, it's so easy to see that his work translates exactly to what he wants to make. And every tweet he puts out, he's just a passionate dude, you know? And I love to see that entrepreneurial spirit and that passion. And he also makes great games. Like, Mutant Muds is terrific. Zeo Drifter is terrific. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of this. You said Chicken Wiggle?
Yes. He sent me the code, and unfortunately I haven't had time to play the 3DS game. But I trust him because he ported Zeo Drifter to the Switch, and I checked that out. It's great, and Mutant Muds is excellent on the Switch. I don't know if you've picked that up. It's incredible. But I trust him. Like, he knows the machines. That's the other thing, is half the tweets that he puts out there, this guy. And that, like, he's a 1 or 2 person shop as well. He's one of these developers.
I was going to say, how big is his team?
Yeah, I mean, I think he scales up when he needs to, but he does a lot of stuff on his own. But he talks about buying games and being excited for video games. Like, this guy lives and breathes it, you know? And that's what I love about it.
Lucas.
Just like me, yeah, a little bit. And Marissa Roberto as well.
No, I feel like I've been living in this esports world for a minute, and I haven't played enough games, actually. But yeah, I miss.
Yeah, you speak a language I don't know how to decipher. I've done some esports.
You pleb.
Yes. But congrats, Jules. His Kickstarter just kicked off, so if you're a fan of his indie work, you should go and check that out. But I think it is time, and we've already been getting questions. Timberwolf wants to know your predictions for the Blue Jays already. But let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about Marissa Roberto and where she's at in her life right now. Like, where are you physically at right now? What is HUD?
Well, Heads Up Daily is HUD. This is the HUD. I mean, it's derives from, like, our Heads Up display. It originally was going to be Heads Up display. Yeah. But then, you know, Daily Show. Yeah. So Heads Up Daily. So it's an hour TV show every single day, no commercials. So we have to make 59 minutes of TV every day. For Super Channel
Overwatch.
And Jinx TV. A lot of stuff. But it's great because all of our producers come from different backgrounds of esports. So it's an esports news talk show, essentially, encompassing everything to do with esports. And then with, like, I like to say it's like an 80-90% esports show with, like, 10% mainstream gaming. So like, they let me have my little moments of, like, a mainstream gaming. So I do the drop. Like, I still talk about new game releases and all that stuff. But and then we'll have some people come on. Usually Wednesdays we talk about more mainstream gaming stuff. But yeah, I'm learning a lot more about League of Legends and Dota than I ever thought I would. I just, like, I didn't live these MOBA lives at all. Like, it was just a whole different scene, and trying to watch them play when you don't play is very challenging.
Are you starting to play?
Yeah. So one of our producers, Lisa League, was trying to teach me once, and she's like, "Okay, I don't know if you can do this." Like, yeah, I don't think I can either. So it's more just like me watching, getting to know the players, because there are so many of them that have been doing this for a very long time, and it's crazy how, like, we in the mainstream gaming have such a disconnect from esports, because I always thought that they were interconnected. Like, I always thought that because we're all gamers, we all understand each other, we all know what's going on. That's not the case at all. This is a completely different world, lives under a totally different umbrella, and each of the games have their own unique communities. So, like, people in the CSGO community don't know anything about League. They don't watch League. They have no idea what's going on. Like, it's a different game altogether, right? Yes. So, you see a little bit of dipping back and forth with, like, CSGO players playing PUBG or Fortnite, that kind of stuff, like things that kind of make sense for them, or like League playing Dota. But for the most part, it's like everybody sticks to their genre, and they become famous in their genre, so we get to know them. We have players Skype in all the time. We have analysts Skype in. A lot of people at the desk too coming to visit and chat. So yeah, I'm learning a lot. My co-host is really great too. He comes from Rocket League, and that's where we met. Actually, I was hosting a Rocket League tournament where he was casting, and yeah, just like really great. He reminds me of my brother a lot, like this really like high energy. So we were already fighting like brother and sister, which works for me, of course. And like I need that. I'm like when we were looking for a co-host, it's like we auditioned a lot of people, and I wanted Brody because, well, he put me in my place, and you know how much I love that. Like I love when people call me out on my BS, and he did that. And like I need I need somebody to make fun of me, and he was the one guy that was like able to do that, no problem. So yeah, Brody and I have had a lot of fun together for sure.
So I've looked for clips to be able to watch the show, but it's really hard to find the material because it's a TV show on Super Channel. Yeah. Is that the only way that you can watch it right now?
Yeah.
I guess they want it to be that way. They want people to subscribe to Super Channel, right?
That's right. Yeah. So the whole idea is that exactly. But we do have little clips. We have clips now that we're putting on YouTube just so people can get to know who we are and what we're about, because a lot of people don't have cable. So just for a good, if you want a little taste of what we're doing, like we have really, really fun segments that when we have guests in, like we do rage quits. So they just stand in front of the blue screen and something that really upset them in whatever game they were playing, or cool. Anybody in the community that's really upset them, and we put like flames and fire behind them. Like we have heavily produced segments like that. I have my Lady Love segments, which I love doing. It's my favorite thing.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah,
and I'm disappointed we didn't do those on EP. That's a great segment. That's all you too, isn't it?
Yeah. So this week I wrote something special for it's for Jennifer Hale. But I'm like, wait, do I spoil it? It's fine. It's for Jennifer Hale. It's going to be in the next episode, because I also want to, pay homage to all the women that have lended their voices to these amazing games, these characters. Because Drew, I don't know if you remember that fan expo where we sat beside her, and they had this lineup of girls just wanting to meet only Jennifer. They're there just for Jennifer, and they were there for like all their garb, their cosplay with FemShep, and I'll never forget those moments. Right, those are a big part of like, the reason why I love this industry so much. So, and I feel like we have never really given enough love to women, and women that really dedicate their lives to this. And I'm not saying that men don't, because they totally do. Yeah. It's just, it was a harder climate for women to get recognition for so long. And I think that this...
You don't have to explain this segment. I think it's just a fantastic segment that makes tremendous sense. And I think it's so classy and cool that you're taking the time to produce material to give people shout outs, whoever they are. This is, I mean, you and I have talked about this, but one thing I've observed is as we've gone to this games as service model and eSports and games that are running forever, like outlasting the careers of people that build them or create them, games will just keep going. We're starting to lose touch with some of the people behind the scenes, and stuff like what you're producing is incredibly important. So I think I applaud that.
Yeah,
but quietly, because Blake doesn't. I don't want Blake.
But, sorry, Blake. Yeah, and then we're doing other things too when we can, just so people are reminded of where they came from and why they love this stuff so much. I have this awesome producer Nick, who we just put together the history of Metroidvania. So it's these really nicely produced segments that can live forever, but also to have in between, because again, we don't have commercials. Yeah. So we cover a lot of eSports. Okay, more gaming stuff, and so we'll put that in there too, just to keep people because we don't know, if you're tuning in, you might only like Hearthstone. Yeah. So when we talk about other games, you might just click off. So it's just nice to have the little breaks in between where we talk about gaming, and then people can maybe jump back in.
How is it too soon to ask about how the show is doing? Are you hearing from viewers? Is the network happy? What's happening?
Yes. I don't know numbers.
And by the way, Marissa's not just the host. She's a producer on the show, and she's helping to originate a whole bunch of real content here. So hats off, lady. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course, it's not just me.
No.
There's a whole team of people here, and just working their butts off. It's a very small team doing a lot of things.
Sounds like Canada.
Yes, sounds like Canada for sure. So yeah, no, there's just I'm very proud of how quickly it all came together. Because honestly, I just heard about this December.
We talked about this in December, and then it's like,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
launched the same day that we launched EP Live, and I saw our tweets going back and forth about that. I was like, wow, I guess we're in competition for time, I guess, right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know what time, but you do this at this time every day.
Well, and it's the internet.
You live forever.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You live forever on the internet.
Yes, yes, it's the internet, and we're not in competition. I want you to
I
succeed.
know.
And
I know, we're only on that. So yeah, we're on Super Channel 1 and Jinx TV Canada. So Jinx TV Canada airs us three times looping the following day.
Okay.
And then Super Channel is at 7 p.m. every night.
Okay.
And then
so
yeah, I mean,
I
can show you
how many viewers you're getting, or
we don't know numbers. I don't know. I've been asking. I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. We get tweets from people, which is really nice.
That's awesome.
And then, but it's a new thing, and it's the first of its kind, really, because there is no dedicated news show to esports.
Right.
On TV.
On TV.
So,
well, not dedicated. You're right. People keep trying it, and they keep popping in, and and that was my question about this: is are you guys pulling producers that are specific to each of these communities, and are you trying to kind of cover all bases? And I mean, because you're right, this is a massive task. You've got a whole bunch of audiences that you're trying to connect with here, aren't you?
Yeah, no, completely. So like the whole idea of it was, okay, so we tune into sports shows all the time, like I do, just to get my sports news, obviously. And so like there are sports in there that you don't tend to gravitate toward. Like a lot of people don't like the CFL, but it's still a part of the show, and you just kind of sit through it if you want to. If not, you want to get a snack and then come back to it when they're talking about baseball. You can do that too. So there is that in the show. So every day is something different. We have different guests every single day talking about different genres of games, different games. We have different e-athletes coming in as well. We have versus. We have debates over, like Brody and I had a head-to-head about why esports should be called esports, and he believes that esports shouldn't be called esports, and we shouldn't associate esports with sports. I'm like, yeah, okay, but sports is in the name, so why don't you just relax? Like we do like a little back and forth fighting sesh. We have like our last guest that came in to fight it out. We're fighting over like the casual gamer label. Like we hate casuals. We hate filthy casuals because they're ruining the whole scene, the whole gaming scene.
Oh,
like, no, that's not like that was one point of view, and another point of view is like, no, we all started out as casuals. We all started that way. Like if you started playing your game on your phone, who cares? Does that, like, are you offended? Did you start playing Bejeweled or whatever it was? Like, no, we all started with something that brought us to this point where we love and appreciate games for whatever the reason may be. So we want to make it an all-inclusive show about, yes, a lot of esports. And even if you don't like esports, I feel like there is something you can hold on to with the show, or maybe want to get into it a little bit, because it is out there and it is happening.
Well, I just think it's great that Ginks and Super Channel and the executives are spending money in this direction, because the truth is, with EP on television and X-Play and G4, all the stuff that's happened around broadcast game trailers, it only serves to, stretch the conversation, and it needs to. In spite of the apathy that the games industry will sometimes present and project out there, it will only lead to better games if more people are talking about it and more people are aware of it. And television is, as you and I have talked about many times, is an incredible shotgun blast out to, you don't know who's watching, right?
Yeah, you
and
don't.
It's not targeted to any specific, I mean, you have your demo sort of target, but there's lots of people that filter in and find and will sit back and be educated and may not play, may not buy, but may buy for someone else, or may be interested in having a conversation with a younger person in their life or whatever. So I think it's fantastic. I think it's great.
No, it's true. Yeah, I mean, we had that with Reviews in the Run, and like how many people would just message me or like come up to me saying, you know what, like I don't even like video games, but I watch because I wanted to know what mobile game to get. Like, thank you for doing that. You know what I mean? It's just like,
it's the biggest compliment, isn't it? It's like, I am not a hardcore. I don't. The audience or the industry doesn't already have me as a customer, and I'm not already bought in. But I watch your material because it entertains me, and I want to know more about this world that I don't know much about. And that's why you make television. That's why you work to build all that. I mean, it's great to have the fans, and I love you guys. I love that you're watching, and I know Marissa loves all the support that she gets for that from people that know us. But
Of course.
the reason why we've endeavored to build television and endeavored to have conversations that sort of stretch outside of the sort of already converted is to bring more people into this medium and bring more people into this discussion. Do you believe that esports has that propensity? Do you believe that it's a like, is it working? Is it growing? Is it bringing more people in? I know it's big. I know it's big money, but it all feels like it's a lot of risk and a lot of people trying a bunch of different things.
Yeah. I know. I messaged Nick Chester because Nick Chester works for Epic Games and they're of course behind Fortnite.
Love Nick.
And he does PR for them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so do you even work, Nick? Like, do you even have to do any work because your game is doing its own PR? Like, just every kind of news outlet covers it. Any GIF that comes out or meme is all Fortnite. He's like, honestly, I technically don't have to because it's doing it all for me. But he cannot believe how fast this has gone, how far it's gone, because of this free-to-play model they have. But also, like, when I messaged him at first, being like, are you excited about esports? He sends me a GIF back. I don't know if you know the Seinfeld episode where Kramer has that board, the risk board that he's going to play at Jerry's house, and he needs to clear room on the table. So, like, esports is Kramer kicking all the garbage off of Jerry's table and like slamming his game down on top of it, because that's the whole idea behind it. That's what people from the outside looking in see, because it just seems like, oh, okay, you hear the word esports and you're percolating if you have money because, oh, you want to invest because you hear that this is the next big thing. It's like, you have to be careful about what you invest in, because these things won't live forever. They'll only live with dedicated communities who care enough to put their time and energy into it. You need to have influencers, you need to have gamers that have a following online as well. That's why you see big orgs like FaZe. So FaZe Clan has a huge following, and it's because they pick up people with huge followings and then give them even more of a boost. So they have so many people just buying their merch for that reason. So there's a lot of money in these orgs with these gamers, but you're also seeing like huge companies like MLSE investing in esports, like actual sports esports. So you have like the NBA now kicking off with 2K, trying to build something there. I'm sure we're going to see something NHL. Maybe it'll be threes, I don't know. But you have these communities that are already online, already living, and they have another boost now with esports, which is exciting, but I don't know how long those in particular will last if they don't have influencers, if they don't have the right people in place to make it so. Because our interests will vary. Like, we'll go from one thing to another. So how do you keep this one community locked in forever? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the big question for everybody, and you can't really predict it, right? Like, the game has to kind of sort of furnish that sort of inertia or that push forward into being an esports, and it has to feel organic and it has to work. I mean, this is me as someone that doesn't really have the time, because I've covered all of this stuff from a vantage point of I watch this for a bit, I play this for a bit, and then I move on. And so esports to me feels like well, you gotta live
there forever.
Yeah, like you're watching this for all, like whole seasons, and you're getting I just don't have the time. I know.
Can you imagine playing Call of Duty as your life? Like, that is your life, only playing Call of Duty forever, competing in Call of Duty. Like, that's what they do. This is where they live their lives. Right.
So how does that become? I guess it will get bigger, but will it be as big as NBA, or will it be because everybody says it will be, but will it be, the NFL of the future or NASCAR of the future? Like,
sure, and we'll all be living in our VR goggles and just like sitting in the stadiums, just taking it all in. I mean, maybe, because these, the reason why this got so much attention with these sports companies is because they went to, like, League of Legends came to Toronto, for example. They sold out their Canada Centre in 10 minutes for League of Legends. That big stadium, they sold out. So that was a huge eye-opener for them. Like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Huge money train. Let's jump in. And so, but they have to be careful with the way they jump in. They can't just be like money, money, money. They have to actually, have guidelines. They have to make sure that they're giving the fans what exactly they need. And it's hard to gauge when you don't have technical fans for something yet. But they already have the money, because the second they announced that they were going to do this, big companies that have already invested with these sports companies are going to invest with them because they know that they have a proven record of obviously getting views, getting eyes out there and filling seats. So why not invest with them? Because they already know that it's kind of like a safe bet. They've already had partnerships with these people before, versus like a video game that has violence. Well, maybe they don't want to put their brand associated with that. So the money is there. We just have to wait now to see if the fans will still lock in.
What would make it better? What would make what would make your job better, and make, like, because your job is not just to see these companies be successful, but your job is to make good television around this stuff and to reach more people.
Yeah, I mean, my job would be made a little better when I'm actually at live events, when I host them. If the players have had media training the way that sports athletes have media training, because I've had situations where, like, I was hosting this Rocket League tournament and this guy fell off his chair. It was this hilarious moment, and I brought him to talk to me, and I'm like, oh, like, what happened there, buddy? Can you explain what went down? Yeah. Like, okay. So anyway, like, I just had to, okay, there's no back and forth here. I'm like, so, like, I'll ask him about, like, the last play they did or whatever. Yep. Like,
I just was at a Call of Duty event in January, and those folks, and I don't know if it's Activision working with those gamers or they've been doing the tour enough, but they were fantastic. I was very impressed. The one thing I like from my vantage point is, like, I don't know their names at all. I get their tags, and then I'm instantly like, I forgot their tags right away. But I feel like the lack of identity and the lack of ownership in that identity is something that's holding the concept of competitive gaming back from people that don't have the time to devote to just being all consuming with this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's true, for sure. The people that live in those communities know these players inside and out. They know when they eat breakfast. They know, like, they follow every single tweet they put out in the day. They're just. But the thing is that, like, with the Call of Duty community, they have those personalities. They're out there and they're all about triggering their fan base, because that's how they get likes on things. That's how they get views. That's how they get sponsorship dollars, because our fans are highly engaged. So when you're highly engaged, sometimes you need to be triggered, unfortunately, so that fuels a lot of trolling. So, I've had moments that haven't been that positive with the Call of Duty community, but I mean, that's the only. I heard that Gears is actually maybe a little worse, but I haven't actually. It's just like a community that it just, like, breeds kind of trolling and hate and it's insulting stuff.
I don't know how. I mean, that's uber competitive, right? Like, we're talking about, it's virtual killing, but you're killing your characters, like, in some pretty, visceral ways in games like that. So I can't imagine you play those things without getting riled up and getting in. Like, that's just it engenders that kind of energy, I would imagine.
People that follow you will share the same kind of mentality as you, right? So, like, you see a player like XQC in Overwatch League who is a huge troll, and he's been fined several times for saying really awful things. But if you go into his chat, if you watch him on Twitch, that's all his chat is too. Like, they're just nothing but trolls of, like, just loving to make fun of each other, and they say it's all in love. But people jumping in for the first time don't, like, you're not gonna know that. And you see guys like Dr. Disrespect, who is, like, the ultimate troll out there, but he does it in a very comedic way, which brings people in and they want to see more. So, like, there's this fine line that you have to dance to make your sponsors happy, but also, like, engage your viewers.
Yeah. Somebody asked, I think it was, hold on, I think I lost it right there. I'm sorry. Danny Sullivan asked, what's on Vic's arm? This is a tattoo my daughter put on my arm here. I don't know if
that's nice.
It's a little teddy bear, and I've been trying to wash it off. It will not wash off. Okay. Show us the set. Show us the set,
sure,
okay? Because we're getting, like, we're diving right in, and I feel like we need to do this more, like, once a month or something, so you can educate me on esports. Okay, so let me see this beautiful set.
No kidding. We'll do esports with Marissa every whatever day. Okay, so this is I'll just actually, I don't need to be in the shot. So this is the desk where we start in the morning.
Cool.
Just get the little view there. Lovely. So a little desk there. Yep. That's where we start with the news, and then we come over to the lounge area, which is just right here.
Donnie Swangore, Donnie-esque, was saying, is this the same set or the same studio that they filmed the Daily Planet show in?
No, this is a brand new studio that they built just for us.
Cool.
This is my favorite part. I love this door, this like very industrial door.
That's great.
With this lighting.
Yeah.
It's not a real door.
Yeah.
It's not real.
It's TV.
It's just pretend.
It's TV.
No.
We get it. When
Now I'm going up to the mezzanine
when do
here.
the drinks come out?
The drinks?
It's an amazing bar.
Oh, no, no. It is an amazing bar, HUD, yeah. This is where we shoot. So this is the mezzanine. So this is where we do, like, I do my tiers up here. I'll do, like, top fives, or, like, we have a segment called Shit Pros Say. Oh, sorry, we probably can't swear.
Oh,
we do a segment called...
You can swear. It's the internet.
Oh, okay, great. So we do a segment called Shit Pros Say, which is why I also think it's great that they don't have media training, these guys, because they will tweet whatever they're thinking.
Right.
So with, like, no filters.
Please don't fall down the stairs. That would be amazing video, but I don't want you to get hurt.
It really would be. So yeah, this studio is freaking huge. It's so nice. And then there's over here, it's kind of dark, but this is where they shoot the huddle. This is where we do like a little podcast.
Cool.
Here. And then we also have like a blue screen and all that stuff. Our little game shelf here. I'm sure it needs a Victor Lucas touch. Victor Lucas, it's been requested several times that you join us on the show at some point. So
I would love it.
Yeah, we really want you here.
That would be amazing.
We actually have a little. This is if you want to see my office that I never use. I'll show you through here. So this is behind the desk. There's like a little there's a little area in here. Oh, wait, hey. I never.
That looks like a place where you take people to torture them, and that's
yeah, exactly.
That's your that's your
decided that's Brody's farting corner. He can go there and fart if he needs to.
Okay, you guys have designated farting areas. Okay, I don't see anybody asking about this, but what's happened with Xbox now? You've been the Xbox person for Canada for a long time now, like almost 2 years. Is that able to continue while you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still doing. Well, the thing is, like, it's a community show and it lives online, so doesn't really compete with the show in any way.
Right.
And I don't actually have to. I just am the glue basically for the show, right?
Yeah.
So I introduce it, I say what's happening. Sometimes we do like really fun segments, but for the most part, it's the community that provides content for the show, and I'm just basically like the voice of it or the face of it.
Yeah.
And then so really like I do it. It is, I love them so much. It is the sweetest gig. Like I'll just go in there. I quickly do, like, we have like an evening because they work with this schedule now, so I'll go in there in the evening, shoot whatever we need to do, and then they send me on my way. So yeah, like really easy, really sweet people to work with, and I just honestly I love them. I didn't want to give it up.
That's amazing, and nor should you have to. That's fantastic. So what happens now? You've got 2 gigs in gaming, and you're also working for Northern Arena as well, which is one of the big esports proprietors, presenters, promoters in Canada?
Yeah, so it's an esports organizer. Okay. So we provide basically the best kind of way to facilitate gamers, like pro gamers, to come and compete with one another, because we actually work with pro circuits as well. So we're going to be announcing some really cool stuff, which I'm really excited about. But yes, it's a lot to juggle, because I do all the socials. It's fine. We have a small team, so it's like I'm trying to manage my social with like heads of daily social with like Northern Arena social.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm doing that too, and then I'll host their live events as well, which is always a lot of fun because I actually get to interact with the professional gamers and get to know them a little bit more. Because it's always nice, like you can interact with them on Twitter all you want, but it's always nice like meeting and chatting and face to face with somebody.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really excited because we're gonna have we just had a Rainbow Six tournament in Montreal at the same time as the Invitational, so kind of fed into that. So we worked with Ubisoft for that. We'll be working with Psyonix and soon for Rocket League, and I'm really excited. I don't want to give anything away, but
that's awesome. So what happens with HUD then when you travel? Are you guys all set up to be able to shoot remotely and put you into the show, or do you guys?
Yeah, so we have amazing producers. One of our producers, her name is Lisa, and she does the download for us, like the news, and then we also do lounge segments with her too.
Yep.
She's great. Actually, I had a terrible like medical situation earlier in January when we first launched. I completely went blind in my right eye.
What?
So I could, yeah, yeah.
Holy
So I
shit!
was
Nobody told me that.
freaked
Oh
out.
my God!
Yeah,
Is everything
yeah.
okay?
It was really bad. I was like, I could
What?
not, and
How
I
did
was
that
thinking,
happen?
well, they said it after
I sound
several
like your
appointments
mom,
later.
but how did that? How did that
Yeah,
happen?
several appointments later, the ophthalmologist is like, well, it's just one of those things. Like, what? What kind of explanation is that?
What
But
the? That's
initially,
unbelievable.
they told me it was an infected corneal abrasion. But I've had a scratched cornea before, and I've still been able to live my life. So I couldn't even open my left eye because it hurt. It still made my right eye strain. So I was completely
Oh my
blind.
God! As you're launching the show,
Yes.
this all.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we were a week in, I think, like maybe 2 weeks in. Everybody here was sick too. We were plagued with like this horrible flu.
Wow.
And then that, like, it was just kind of one thing after another. And then like thank God for Lisa, she was able to like jump in and host with Brody, and I was just so grateful.
It sounds like when I was away and Scott got sick and you had to host both shows.
I remember that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was definitely something.
Oh my God.
So,
Are you okay
yeah,
then, or can you see okay?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I'm being very cognizant of how long I've worn my contacts for, and like that I have to change them exactly on the day.
Did you do that because you kept your contacts in for so long? Did you?
I don't know. They won't tell me what it was because my contacts were clean. They were fine.
Yeah.
But they still haven't given me a reason why. I'm thinking it's because once you scratch your cornea, you can scratch it again easily. Okay. So because I was coughing so horrendously from the flu and the cold that was going around, yes, maybe I had reactivated it or reinfected. I have no idea what happened. They still haven't given me a legit answer, but I was so sensitive to light.
Sammy in 111 says you should adopt an eye patch look like Nick Fury.
I know. It actually was the same timing when like Sea of Thieves beta was coming out, and I thought maybe I could make it work, but did not have an eye patch, unfortunately. So
that's crazy. Well, I'm glad your eyes are okay.
Me too. You should have seen me. Like, poor Francisco. Like, so I made him. He had to take off work so he could guide me to the hospital.
Yes.
And sit down. And the doctor was trying to talk to me, and I wasn't really aware of anything, and so it seemed like I also couldn't hear. He's like, Marissa, you're not also deaf. Like, can you please? like you're just so disoriented because you've lost you've lost your vision. So the blind are courageous, obviously.
Yes.
I'm that new perspective, of course.
Oh.
It was awful.
Well,
it was awful.
I'm sorry you had to go through there, but Work Oasis, Canadian Healthcare for you, it's one of those things, right?
Yes.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle Chenard asks, is Marissa still doing Xbox All for One? Yes, she is. Yeah. Mario All-Stars is on one of your shelves there, Blade Blur noticed.
Oh, you noticed it,
yes. Yeah. Let's see, man, noticing that, somebody's talking about the tattoo some more.
Oh, your tattoo, yeah.
People are still talking about X-Play, raving about X-Play.
Oh,
just keep it up. You're watching EP and HUD now. You want to rave about X-Play. Yeah. Go right ahead. That's all good, chat. You do it.
Yeah, well... they were back in the day. The G4 days, The
G4 days, yes. We got a question from Blade Blur. As a huge Pokemon fan, what do you think of Pokemon Sun and Moon alongside the Ultra versions? Did you play the Ultra?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Pikachu detective situation.
No, that comes out this month, though. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I have no. You know what? I have not played Pokemon in forever. I feel like I have not. I've been addicted to Stardew Valley. Did you know that?
Oh, it's an amazing game.
Did you know?
Yeah.
That I have not stopped playing Stardew Valley. It's insidious. I've lost my life to it.
Yeah, no.
It is.
Every
because
game
you're not
is out
really,
to kill you now, it feels like. It's like, yeah, we'll keep you in here, my precious. You won't be able to look at any other games. There is no ending to our game anymore. It's crazy.
I know.
Right?
But I feel really bad, too, because it's a Harvest Moon ripoff, like 100% Harvest Moon ripoff. Yes. And
smarter, though.
But I'm just living in it because of all the amazing stories that you kind of uncover. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, I can make anybody in the town date me? Well, that's kind of exciting. Yes. Like, you just start giving flowers to everybody. No, it's a problem. Like, where, the next morning it's like 6 a.m. Like, okay, what did I accomplish today? nothing.
Yeah.
Actually nothing in my real life. It's just in the video game. So I'm trying to stay away from that. Like
The Switch makes it dangerous too, right? Because it's always with you. And
I've actually only played it on Xbox. I've only been playing on my Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Switch right now, I still have to finish Zelda. I finally went back because I had gotten stuck in a Divine Beast, and I'm like, okay, you know what? F this. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I just quit it because I can't take it anymore. And then I finally went back to it, and it felt really good to like get past the part I was stuck. Felt amazing.
Yep.
And then I still have to finish Mario Odyssey. Like there's so many games to play that it's frustrating. And then I'm seeing like even the fact that Red Dead, like I have anxiety over the fact that Red Dead is coming out and it's not even coming out till November. I have anxiety knowing that like I have to finish whatever game I really want to play because November's going to come and it's going to be all Red Dead.
It's nuts. What's blowing my mind about the Switch is even though it's only a year old, you turn it on and there's like a million games in the store. There's a lot of indie games and a lot of ports and stuff, but it's like there's a lot of stuff I haven't played too, and it's like holy crap, they've got a lot of choice already on just that machine, let alone the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, and Steam. Yeah. We have choices.
I know, but I mean Switch, like I have to say that's got to be the best. That's got to be the best system Nintendo's ever released. Ever. I think like it is just. I mean, anytime I see a trailer that just has that click, like snap, your little Switch noise that happens, it excites me. Like I get very like, oh, what's it gonna be? Yeah. What's gonna come? Yeah, like it's got that excitement behind it, which is so great. Like even people that haven't played games in a long time can pick up a Switch and be like, oh yeah, this is what it's like.
It's a gateway drug. Right? And what I've been saying, too, is that it's like a commercial every time you take it out the door and you play it anywhere. It's like, what is that thing? You know, like people have envy right away. They want one of those things. It's
so true, especially when you have like the colorful controllers, like those new Splatoon, the Splatoon colors we have. Yeah. I mean, we just got them. Francisco actually doesn't like when I take them because he says I have greasy fingers and I just ruin every controller ever, which is true. So like I've been demoted back to I am. So, so I've been demoted back to the gray controller. The gray because I got on them or something. He's like, he's very precious with the controls. So.
Blair Farrell says, "Did you read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, Marissa? There's a great piece about the creation of Stardew Valley. I know you didn't read that because you're playing Stardew Valley."
Yeah, that's right. And then honestly, when I'm not doing that, like I'm streaming different game competitions happening on Twitch constantly. So yeah, I mean, there's been less game playing, more game watching, essentially. Yes. We've been watching Francisco play Horizon Zero Dawn because I haven't played it yet, but I really want to get to know Aloy. Yeah. So I'm just like watching him have this amazing campaign with her. It's just a fantastic game.
Wonderful game. Yeah. And we do have lots of incredible things to catch up on and to talk about for the future. Do you want to just give me, do you know what Microsoft has got in the works? Have you heard any rumblings or anything you want to tease
I can tell you that. No, honestly, they keep me completely in the dark. Like, I don't know anything until I get to set and we're shooting it. I'm like, oh, this is happening? That's exciting.
Oh, so Xbox Switch confirmed. Thank you, Marissa. Should we quote that? Marissa Roberto confirms portable Xbox at E3. Amazing having you on. You're a fountain of information. I love these exclusives. We can. No, it's not true. Don't write that anywhere, please.
No,
okay.
Not at all.
All right.
I will be at E3 though, so hopefully we can catch up there too. But before that, if you're coming to Toronto, please, I want you here.
I would love to be out there. Absolutely. I can't wait to see you in person and to see some of the team. And I've been thinking a lot about you and Steve and Raju and Sean and Scott's out there now too. I miss all of you people. And
Nick, you gotta come out.
I know.
Tomorrow, let's go.
Can you crank up the heat just a little?
It's not that bad right now. It's getting better. It's not too bad.
It's not the heat. It's all dependent on work and travel and all that stuff. But yeah, I'll be out in Toronto before you know it. I'll be out there. And then, are there no tournaments in Vancouver that you can come and cover for HUD?
Possibly. We're talking about maybe one happening in the next season that we're launching here. So yes, possibly. I will let you know for sure. But before that, you will be here.
Okay. That sounds great.
So you'll be here on this day.
I love the sound of that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I would love to kind of make this a regular thing if that's cool with you. Can we The Skype
Sure.
works. We
Oh
officially
yeah, I mean,
tested it again, and
if
it
you
works
want,
fine.
a crash course in esports every whatever.
Yes.
I'll fill you in as much as I can on what I've learned that week.
Marissa, everybody here on this chat, everybody watching the archive of this, everybody in the studio, which is Blake and me, we all love you, and we're very happy for you, and you just keep rocking and kicking butt, okay?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Of course, I mean, none of this would be real without you. So I have so much love for you and EP.
You're the best. Well, we'll see you soon, okay?
Bye guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. Let's take a look back at this day in everything cool. Welcome to This Day in Everything Cool for March 6th. On this day in 1998, The Dude was in.
Far out.
The Coen brothers comedy The Big Lebowski was released in theaters, introducing audiences to memorable characters like the Dude, played by Jeff Bridges.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me.
John Goodman's angry Jewish convert Walter.
Shabbos!
Steve Buscemi as the consistently confused Donnie.
Donnie, please.
John Turturro as Jesus.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
And Julianne Moore as Maude.
Vagina.
When it was first released, the film only received a lukewarm reception from critics and audiences, but slowly amassed a large cult following on home video and cable television. Today, The Big Lebowski is widely considered to be one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Or at least the most quotable, and it stands out as one of the top films in the considerable Coen brothers catalog.
You see what happens, Larry?
The Dude abides. Gamers might not abide this next entry. On March 6, 2012, BioWare released their controversial game Mass Effect 3, ending the sci-fi trilogy. Unlike the first and second games, which were universally praised, Mass Effect 3 was met with a very polarizing reception. Many gamers were downright furious about the ending, which was basically the same no matter what choices you made leading up to it, which completely negated the player-driven narrative of the series. The response was so bad that BioWare was forced to tweak the ending via post-launch DLC, raising questions about artistic integrity and whether or not game makers should change their stories if they're unpopular. The Mass Effect series has struggled ever since. The spin-off Mass Effect Andromeda received even worse reviews, and publisher EA has put the franchise on hiatus until further notice. You can't have science fiction without real science. On this day in 1869, the periodic table of elements was first unveiled by Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev. Up until that point, scientists didn't have a good way to classify and categorize all the new atomic elements that they were discovering, and the periodic table arranged them into a grid based on their number of electrons and chemical properties. The periodic table was so simplistic and ingenious that it actually had gaps for elements that had yet to be discovered, and its ease of use helped make chemistry much more accessible to new scientists all over the world. Thank you so much for creating the periodic table of elements. You learn a little bit of everything on this show, don't you? Wasn't it awesome having Marissa on the show? Love that person. She is amazing. We are a little bit behind on the show, so we're going to pick up the pace here a little bit. We are going to talk about the top 10 games that I'm excited for coming out in March. Obviously, we're already into March, and today there are some titles that are releasing. I've also had the chance to take a look at one of these titles that I'm excited for, so I'm cheating a little bit, but I already have an idea that I am very excited about this, but I can't say more than that. Number 10 for me is the redo of Devil May Cry in the Devil May Cry HD collection. We had one of our viewers talking about that. It comes out on the PlayStation 4 and PC and Xbox One on March 13th. Now this, I think, has been redone before for the PS3, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe the Xbox 360. It's Devil May Cry 1, 2, and the special enhanced edition of Devil May Cry 3. This is Hideki Kamiya. I think I got the name right. The Bayonetta genius. And I played Bayonetta, and I actually played a little bit of the Okami. There's an HD port of that for the PlayStation 4, which was also a Kamiya game. And I'm just jonesing. I want to go back. I want to re-experience this. Hopefully they do some extra flourishes so it makes it even more of a special treat to play it in on modern systems. But obviously everything is up-resed up to 4K resolution. Hopefully the textures don't suffer too much from it. Excited about that. Number 9 is, and I'll just pop this up here one second. Number 9 is the Kirby Star Allies game, which is coming out on March 16th for the Switch. This is the first Switch version of Kirby, and the big deal here is that you can play competitively, or cooperatively, I guess a little competitively, with up to 4 players at the same time, and you can join up on powers and abilities and do cool things like become a train or jump onto a star and fly around, and it looks like it's going to be super fun. And I'm excited about that. Number 8 is Golem, which is a VR game from Highwire Games for the PlayStation VR. It's an exclusive. Now, I interviewed Marty O'Donnell, who is the composer famous for Halo and worked on Destiny before he was let go, or there was some big turmoil at Bungie, and he left the studio. But he has moved on to Highwire, and they've been working exclusively on this for a number of years now. And one thing I didn't say about Moss is how excited I am for more great VR standalone experiences, exclusives, and games that have been had some money injected into them. And I feel like this could be one of those games. There isn't a lot of hype right now, and I think it's got to do more with install base than anything. It's like, sort of leveraged bets. But great pedigree at Highwire behind this. So I'm excited to see what this is. You're taking control of these big, giant stone sort of mechs in a way. And, so it's going to be interesting to see how the mechanics all work. This has been a long time in development, and so much has changed in VR. So I'm excited to see how Golem has come together. And we will find out PlayStation VR exclusive March 13th. So very soon. I'll try to stream that one when I get a code for it. Number 7 is a bit weird for me because I don't play these games all that often, but I think Elon Musk has got me very interested in the idea of not personally relocating to Mars, but the idea of surviving on Mars is absolutely fascinating, and with all of the stuff that we seem to continue to be doing to this planet, it seems timely and pertinent to be thinking about this. Paradox is bringing out this game called Surviving Mars, and you have robots helping you to create a city, and it's sort of like a Sim City simulation, trying to actually build up all the systems that will help you survive. The domes that will give you an atmosphere, and the power grid to sort of outfit your city, and then you want to populate it, and you're going to have the hydroponic kind of towers and things like that, so you can grow things in here. Of course, you're going to have all of this sci-fi technology, and it looks pretty fun. It looks cool, and the interesting thing about this, it comes out on March 15th, and it's on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And I'm psyched to play this. And what they hint about in the trailer is that everybody's going to be safe. There's really no dangers on Mars. And then it ends with this huge meteorite coming in, or this giant thing that crash everybody's dreams. Number 6 for me is Valkyria Chronicles 4, which I think initially is coming to the PlayStation 4. I couldn't find just like a straight up trailer for this, so this is like the development team working on this. I've played some Valkyria Chronicles games before, I think on the PlayStation 3, possibly the Vita. I've always liked this series. It's a almost like a hand-painted or etched game. It's a cross between sort of third-person action and some really cool strategy. And it's just a cool franchise, and it's a unique idea. It's like alternate history, and you've got to command troops and go into battle and try to figure out, how to flank enemies and work around them, and you control these kind of steampunk vehicles and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and obviously this is the first one coming out for modern systems. I think this is coming to everything, too. I think it's coming to the Xbox One and PC and the Switch as well. But initially, I think it launches on PlayStation 4 on March 21st. I don't know anything about the story. I don't know about these new characters. I believe there was some kind of a mix-up as well. We didn't get Valkyria Chronicles 3 in North America, or at least I don't remember playing it. So it's like we went to 1, 2, and 4. But it's a cool franchise, and I love Sega. I'm playing Yakuza 6 right now, and I can't tell you how much I love Sega. I guess that's going to be on my list of games that I'm psyched for in March as well. All right, let's go to number 5, which is MLB The Show 18. And, you know, a lot to be able to predict with this franchise. But the thing that I always find, it is like the beginning of spring when I play this game. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, the sun's finally coming out. And we've had a miserable winter with lots and lots and lots of rain and super cold days, and we got snow in Vancouver. And when you play a sunny game like the MLB Show games, which are always made with such, you know, a beautiful attention to detail, it looks sensational, and I always have a good time with these games. There is this, you know, incremental kind of addition that happens every year, and that's what happens when you're on a 9-month development schedule. But they're, you know, the Sony San Diego team has been killing it with this franchise on the PS4, and I have no reason to doubt that this is going to look sensational. It's also going to be their second kick at it on the PS4 Pro, so we should see some pretty cool 4K art and some, you know, some extra beauty out of this franchise. Psyched for that. Number 4 is a cooperative action-adventure game that EA picked up the rights for. Famously, the developer made some noise at the Game Awards last year. It's called A Way Out, and you basically are trying to break out of prison with you and a buddy, and I think it's AI controlled if you can't find somebody, but you can play cooperatively on the couch, or you can play online as well. Looks like almost Uncharted-like or Uncharted Light in terms of characterization and some of the mechanics. Looks like there's a cool story here, and I like the passion of the developer. He got on my nerves a bit by how much he was pushing his points with Jeff when he was up on stage at the awards, but it's hard to deny the enthusiasm and the belief in his game. He basically promised, look, he promises us that if we get this game, we're going to have a great time with it. And it looks like they're using a lot of the brothers' mechanics of being able to employ you know, the cooperative balance back and forth to be able to do a lot of things together, which looks great. And they've got some interesting split-screen dynamics in here as well. I am psyched for this game. It's called A Way Out. Comes out on March 23rd for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Number 3, I bet you can kind of predict this one. It's from Bandai Namco. It's an RPG that we've been waiting for a long time, sort of evoking the art of the Miyazaki movies. It's Ni no Kuni 2. I played a little bit of Ni no Kuni 1. That was a game that Ben Silverman and Jose Sanchez reviewed for us, and as you know, the freight train never stops, so I didn't really have a lot of time to go back to it. But what I did play, I was like, wow, I was absolutely astounded by the art of it and the beauty of it and the I don't know, the peacefulness, you know. And I know that they've changed a lot of things up because it was a little meandering the first game. This one has tighter action mechanics. I played a little bit of this at E3 last year. Loved it. It was really hard to put down, and it just looks great. It looks like an animation in, an animated movie in motion. Since this game, though, was announced and has come out, though, we've played Breath of the Wild, which really has crafted almost a Miyazaki kind of vibe as well unto itself. But new characters, new story, new engine, new fighting mechanics, new machines, and I believe it's PC, PS4. Yeah, I don't think it's coming to the Xbox One. So it's a nice pickup for Sony right there. That comes out March 23rd as well. March 23rd is a big, busy day. I've got Sea of Thieves, for those of you wondering if there are going to be any Xbox One exclusives coming out in March. This is my number 2, Xbox One and PC. I played the beta with Ben and Jose, and we were killing ourselves laughing. We also found this guy that had been, like, he was the master of the beta, and he took us everywhere. And it was great to play with somebody that really knew all the sort of guidelines and knew where to take us. But it's really fun, and it's very cooperative. You really can't do much in this game unless you partner up with people and do things together. But it's all the pirate tropes, you know, the shanties and the walk the planks and the steering the ships and the cannon fire and sunken treasure. But it's beautiful, and it was astoundingly beautiful. None of the trailers, none of the demos that I've seen prepared me for sitting down, watching this on my OLED TV, running on the Xbox One X, I was floored. It's a gorgeous game. Does it have the longevity and the staying power? Well, I think this is being built to keep us in their world because every game is now forever. We'll see. We'll find out. But I am absolutely psyched. It's number 2 on my list. And I think you can probably guess what's number 1. And I mistakenly forgot Yakuza 6. And I really should have put that in my list as well. I think if I was going to put, I'd probably put Yakuza 6... number 4 actually before A Way Out, but I forgot it because I'm actually playing Yakuza 6 right now. But the game that I'm super psyched about is Far Cry 5. We've gotten a taste. At first I found it offensive and too close to home, literally and figuratively. But now I see the genius in it, and I've never sort of not seen the production pedigree and the artistry and the gameplay mechanics sort of caliber that we're going to get out of this game. And it was very difficult in my hands-on to stop playing. It was like I wanted to just tell the people that were running to just shut up. I'm not stopping. I want to keep playing. Who cares if somebody needs the controller? I wanted to just stay. And of course, I couldn't. I had to put it down. Lots and lots of different mechanics, AI companions, there's cooperative play, there's the Far Cry arcade, which we talked about today, flying, of course, lots of gunplay, animals, it's a sandbox, and it's going to be crazy, ridiculous fun, and it's going to consume every shooter fan's life for a big chunk of the spring. Far Cry 5 comes out on March 27th, and there are the top 10 and 11, if you count Yakuza 6, games that I am super psyched for March. We're going to have a good month, guys. But right now, let's take a trip back and take a look at a buried treasure. I've got another iOS game as a buried treasure today. This one is called PinOut, and I'm a big fan of video pinball. I talked about Kirby's Pinball Land not too long ago. This is a video pinball game, but it's kind of fused with an endless runner where you're just trying to sort of ride the table for as long as you can, and you've got a timer that's counting down. And so basically you're trying to, progress through these levels, which are very kind of Tron-like, which is sweet, and you do sort of see that level counter sort of cross over, and you just feel like, phew, I made it. Oh my God. And then the stuff becomes much more challenging. You've got to get all of these little globules, these little balls, these power-up balls, I guess, along the way that will add a little bit of time to the clock. There are also power-ups that you get along the way that may slow down time a little bit or give you some extra time. And it's just really addictive. This is something that I always pick up on my phone and I check out while I'm waiting for takeoff, or I'm waiting for, the flight to be deplaned, or the gate sort of announcement, where I'm just sort of chilling and I don't want to have to go into my bag and pull out all of the Switch and all the others. This is one that I just tap on the old iPhone because I'm reading your tweets on Twitter telling me how awesome I am, and then I go, oh, okay, let's play some PinOut, and I always have a good time. I'm always impressed with the style and the look of it. It does have some pretty cool techno, electronic music in this, and it's super fun. I think you can get this thing. This is one of those games where you can check it out for free, and then if you want to get more, you got to pay for it, but it's worth the dough. It's definitely a buried treasure, and it's worth the dough. PinOut, you get a big happy smiley face from me. Definitely recommend PinOut if you haven't got that game. It absolutely rocks. But let's move on and take a look at another game that's put a big smile on my face. It's called Owlboy. The Nintendo Switch is really proving itself as an amazing platform to play cool indie games, and the latest one that I've been addicted to is a game called Owlboy, which I checked out for a little while on the PC last year and thought it was terrific, but I didn't really sink lots of time into it. I am happy to say that I have now sunk lots of time into Owlboy on the Switch, and it is an ideal platform for it. It's pretty amazing that, of course, you can play it on the big screen. It looks incredible, and you can take it with you anywhere that you want to and play it on the portable screen, and it looks just as fresh. This is a Metroidvania type experience. No, don't turn away. Don't turn away, don't be bored. trust me, it's different. You wear an owl cloak, and so yes, you have a lot of the same kinds of conceits where you level up and you add new abilities and you find little gadgets that will allow you to access areas you couldn't get to before. That's all there, but the owl cloak allows you to fly, and this is really kind of like a buddy cop movie or a buddy movie. I guess it's not a cop movie, but the owl cloak that your main character Otis gets to wear lets him carry other characters. The first one you meet is a little guy named Getty, who gives him a gun, who can fire at bad guys and monsters and creepy crawlies. Some of them are a little bit invincible, so you have to kind of spin with your owl cloak to knock them back, and then you can shoot them down. And then you also find other characters and a teleport mechanic, so you can zap different characters for different jobs any way that you want to throughout the environments. And let me tell you about these environments. They are super cool, very well refined, lots of diversity. Of course, there's a huge owl thematic kind of, overtone, but not too far into the adventure, you meet these vicious little trolls, and then you're meeting all of these kind of, badass pirates that are after you, and it's so cool. This game is really fun, and I feel like, we get saturated with these Metroidvanias, and it takes a lot to kind of surprise us and bring us something new, and Owlboy definitely does that. But the thing I want to say that really blew me away about this game was the way too good for it music. And that's not to deride the game, because the game is a blast, but the music is something else. Holy crap, I was just floored by the beauty and the majesty and the epic, like this music you can kind of fit on anything. Like it's so good, it would be like in a Hollywood movie or, an epic 3D action adventure thing. And here it is in this cool, two-dimensional, definitely retro, old school kind of style game. And the end effect is that this just overcomes you. It's so enveloping and beautiful and sumptuous and just every superlative I can throw at this thing. I was wowed by Owlboy. The end effect with this great music and these tuned controls and these great little characters and the little quips, the little dialogue pieces that you get through here that make you actually laugh out loud. This is a superb game, and you definitely need to pick it up if you've got the Switch. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, the music in Owlboy is something else, man. That is an exceptional game. I see your comments there about, Metroidvanias being played out, and that's from Samian111. Yeah, and sometimes I get a little bit tired of that sort of retro kind of experience. But like I say, when you put on the owl suit and you flap around and fly around, it's such a treat. Really cool game. Fantastic on the Switch. Really, really cool. So it's time for us to play a little Let's Play and Chat. We've got Ruiner on the PlayStation 4. This is a top-down dual-stick shooter that I've been having some fun with. Doi Owen has a question on a scale of I cannot say to redacted. How is the new Kirby game? Can't say. Let's play some Ruiner. And
Hi, everyone.
You guys, Blake Siefkin is joining us.
We can comment on the Kirby demo.
Sure you can.
I played it and it gave me a headache.
Okay.
Because I'm an old man.
All right, let's play a little. Oh, he sees the Elgato or something like that. Oh, he sees it on the screen. That's right.
Where?
He sees it somewhere. I'm not sure.
I'll take a look.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Because we are running it through the Elgato, through the Mac, so we don't have any... but let's see. Okay, so this is Ruiner. I think I turned the music off so you guys can just hear some sound effects and stuff. Does it sound okay? This is a...
What Elgato is he seeing?
I don't know. Maybe in the corner or something like that? I don't know. Somebody... Maybe it was on the side screen or something like that. It's all good. Okay, cool. I'm behind on my... Okay, now we're live. Yeah, I don't see it on this stream either, so we're good. This is not on the Switch currently. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4 right now. So this is a game, and that was Campbell412 asking question. What do you think the odds are of an E3 announcement for either a new Elder Scrolls or Fable game? Leafs fan. Odds are good for Elder Scrolls. And Fable, I think their rumor is, yeah, there is a Fable game that's in development right now with, who was the studio again? It was Playground Games.
Yeah,
the Forza people.
Forza people, yeah.
We'll see that. I mean,
they're in the UK, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there'll probably be lots of, ex Lionhead folks there.
People,
yeah.
But the former Lionhead people are making their own game. They formed a lot of them formed another studio, I think. And
that's right.
And they're making. They were looking for. I remember we did a story about them looking for funding to get to make some other fantasy RPG.
Warko A asks a question: have you ever met up with the Devolver folks? They are like the punk rockers of the game publishers.
We meet them every year. At
Mike Wilson is a good friend of mine. He is the founder of Devolver, one of the founders of Devolver. I've known Mike for more than 20 years. I interviewed him back at God Games.
Hi, Kyle.
And yeah, I've been talking with him forever. He actually moved to British Columbia. It was a pretty big deal. He moved from Austin, Texas, where Devolver is headquartered or started, and he lives in Victoria now. And we keep in touch all the time. I want to have him on EP Live, so hopefully he'll be on here pretty soon. He's got other projects going off the ground right now too. Very, very busy dude. Phenomenal guy. And an inspiration, really, like just a champion of developers and content creators all over.
Yeah, I met him the first time at E3 2008, I believe, when he was running Gamecock, which is the studio he ran before Devolver.
Yeah.
And yeah,
he's got
really
a
nice guy.
Great sense of humor.
I think his daughter was there too. Like he brought his daughter with him.
Yeah.
His daughter was like 7 years old.
He's got a 10-year-old son, and yeah, he's got the family in the business in a way, and the businesses that he creates are also family. And this is the reason why Warko's asking. This is another terrific Devolver game, and there seems to be this ability at this publisher to not just find games that sort of make a social commentary or have a kind of a twisted sense of humor, a sensibility about them. But they're also phenomenal games to play. You know, they're just super fun. And this game, I think, has been compared to Hotline Miami, which is another Devolver title, in terms of its mega violence or ultra violence.
Oh, that reminds me. Let us know if the audio of the game is too hot or too low.
Yep.
In regards to our voice audio, because I can't hear it from over here.
So the deal with this, and the reason why I dig it, is Smash TV is one of my favorite games, and Robotron 2084 is one of my favorite titles of all time. And
so this is a twin stick shooter, right?
Twin stick. I'm not shooting with the pointing of the right thumbstick. I still have to press the trigger, and I run out of bullets, and I have to switch up my guns all the time. I get incoming gifts from this little robot buddy up here. I open that up. This sword guy is just kicking my ass. I should have started this earlier, but there are cool boss fights, and it's got this cyberpunk kind of vibe. If I beat this boss fight, which is really dumb of me to start this thing. Oh yeah, I can zip with this, right? I forgot about this. Okay, I gotta get the mechanics down. I can zip away. But if I beat this guy, I might be able to get to the town where it's a little bit of you know, there's a little narrative in here as well. It's not just running and gunning and shooting and killing. And there's some pretty crazy things in here. I had to find and hack these cats. There are cats in this city. So now I know a little bit more mechanics, so I should be able to play this a bit better. But go ahead and ask any questions.
Emilio Lopez comments that the Devolver space at E3 is always really cool. I guess Emilio must have been to E3.
We saw him.
Or you don't need to actually go to E3 to go to the Devolver space, because Devolver always has their E3 booth off-site in the parking lot across the street from E3.
Emilio Lopez is the artist that sent us all that kick-ass Metal Gear art and all those beautiful things. And you met him at the Devolver booth at E3.
Oh my god, did I really?
Yeah.
I have the worst memory, sorry.
Yeah, he's a wonderful dude, and he works professionally within the video game space and the comic book space.
I seriously met him at the Devolver booth?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, we met a lot of people.
Yeah, when you go to E3, you literally meet like 1,000 people in the span of 3 days. But yeah, Devolver's booth is always really cool.
They're an amazing
They have
company.
booze and alcohol, and because Devolver always tries to be cool.
They're cool.
But cooler than the stuffy people inside the convention center. So.
Oh, what the heck did I just do?
They have barbecue. No one else has barbecue. although Activision's booth had pizza.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Make of that what you will.
So I affected something, so I've got slow-mo, right? I've got all these power-ups and stuff like that. I forget all of the nuance. Like the one thing that I didn't really do for this was play it right before we started. You know, we've been busy getting all the pieces together. I shot some reviews and things like that earlier today too. So I didn't really get a chance to play this, but I played it the other night and really had a good time. It's cool.
Somebody wants to know when Halo 5 is going to come out, and then below they Campbell 412 said Halo 6.
Yeah.
Halo 5 came out a few years ago.
I think Halo 6 might be this year. I would not be shocked.
You think?
Yeah.
I think we'd have seen a teaser for it last year.
Well, I think they.
I think we might see a trailer for it at E3 this year, but it won't be out until next year.
You think?
I think it'll be out next year, and it'll be a launch title for the Xbox 5, whatever it is, the next gen Xbox.
This would be the year to give us that game, and.
Well, they have Crackdown. Where's Crackdown? Why has that game not come out yet?
That's pre E3 though.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
When does that game come? They got to get that game out before they start.
I'm not actually
Halo.
sure. I mean, I know that they pushed it back, but I thought it was a spring release.
It's supposed to be out this year.
So I beat that guy. I hope everybody at home is cheering. This is just like watching eSports, just me trying to beat a boss. It's pretty much as I hope I'm on the next episode of HUD. I know I won't be.
Samian111 says the THQ acquisition by Koch Media Deep Silver and now Koch Media seems very understated around the industry. How big do you think? I think people are not talking about it because it's kind of confusing to talk about, like explaining what. Because it's not THQ, it's THQ Nordic, which has nothing to do with the old THQ. They're a completely different entity, so it's really confusing to talk about.
Yeah. Like
from a corporate standpoint, so that's probably why a lot of game journalists are just kind of like, eh. But I think it is kind of a big deal because now
there's a right-wing run video game.
No, not Koch Media, not the Koch brothers. Koch Media, no.
Okay.
Koch Media is a Europe. See, this is why people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Koch Media is a European media company, nothing to do with the Koch brothers, Vic.
Okay.
And they bought. What did they buy? Okay.
They bought THQ Nordic.
No, they bought. Oh God, see, I can't even remember now. They bought Deep Silver, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, a bunch of old THQ... When THQ went bankrupt in 2013, all of their franchises went to like 5 different companies. One of those companies just bought one of the others, so now a lot of old THQ franchises are now reunited under the same roof. So
yeah, one I'd like to revisit actually is the Blob 2. I always liked that franchise.
But the big one is Red Faction, because it used to be the rights to Red Faction were owned by one studio, and the Red Faction developer was owned by a different studio, so now they're under the same roof, so now we can have a new Red Faction game from the same team. I got a little bit of a spoiler here. This is the wizard that I was trying to hunt down. So, you know, you've got augmentations and you're getting hacked and stuff like that. Somebody asked if I'm going to be reviewing Gotham. I don't know if you mean Gotham by Gaslight or the TV show Gotham. I have not watched Gotham since season 2. I am not keeping up with it, unfortunately. Just too many other new things popping up all the time. I'm even behind with The Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl, the shows that I love. And now Jessica Jones is coming out this week, so I'm psyched about jumping back in there. I heard that Gotham gets better and better and better, and that I need to go back to it, so I will. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. You watched Star Trek Discovery, though. I watched all of Star Trek Discovery, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I mean, it didn't feel like Star Trek, but I liked the trippy kind of story that it told me, and I liked the actors and the characters and the production values, and I thought it was good, and I'm looking forward to more. It's not The Expanse, it's not Battlestar Galactica. All I'm saying is, if you have a limited amount of time to watch a show, why I don't understand why you would devote time to Star Trek Discovery when there's all these other shows. Because it interested me. You know, I am jonesing for Battlestar to come back, and The Expanse is coming soon. I can't wait to dive back into that. This is like Blair Farrell says Legends is the only one you need to keep up with. The others are having bad seasons this year. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is 10 out of 10 these last 2 seasons. Okay, Blair, I trust you. I'm going back into Agents, and I will... Rick Palsy, I will take a look at Gotham, but tomorrow my review of Gotham by Gaslight is on the show, I think, right? Yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah. We'll make it happen. Been seeing and watching and playing a lot of things. Okay, so now I think I go back to the town. I just wiped out somebody right here. Somebody wants to know your thoughts on Ninja Batman or Batman Ninja. Oh my God. That's not out yet, is it? No, it comes out in May. Yeah. It looks so awesome. Excited for that. That looks insane. You
So
know
good.
that this year at Comic-Con, there's going to be dozens of toys based on that anime,
Yes.
right?
Well, I saw tons at Toy Fair.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're in my Toy Fair. Yeah, thanks for watching that. They're in the Toy Fair piece.
I was
put
busy
together.
editing other stuff.
Yeah, I know you were. You're cranking. On the note of Jessica Jones from JBJ Blaze, what are you mostly looking forward to seeing in Season 2? How long do you think Season 3 will take if JJ is renewed?
They usually have about a year and a half between each season.
Yeah, and the Purple Man and the psycho sort of warfare that was a part of the first season was so exciting. And
Yeah.
he what's his name? David?
His name is Doctor Who.
Yeah, he was Doctor Who. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I think the first season of Jessica Jones is actually my favorite Marvel Netflix.
It was really good.
Thing,
It was so weird and twisted, and but now I want to see a lighter Jones that sort of embraces the fact that she's a hero for hire, and you know, like
The thing
Christian Ritter
is-
is great, man. She's a good actor.
And this is just occurring to me. If it takes a year and a half for the next season,
Yeah.
that might be it. There
Oh,
won't-
no,
because
I-
of Disney and Netflix.
I
right?
wanted to bring that up with Marissa. I forgot we got talking about all the other stuff, but I've heard that the streaming stuff is going to be not R-rated.
Oh, so the R-rated stuff can stay up.
Yes.
Yeah, but.
And I mean, it
Wouldn't
makes
they want to move it to Hulu though? Because Disney now owns a majority stake in Hulu.
maybe. Maybe I
It's just
think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Netflix picked up by somebody.
You think Disney is going to buy Netflix?
I don't think they will buy Netflix, but maybe a competitor will, and that will facilitate.
But that makes it even harder for Disney to work with them.
Yes, but I wouldn't count any of these. Looks like I'm hacking this thing.
I like the aesthetic of this city.
so
by the way.
cool,
It looks
right?
really Blade
Yeah.
Runner-ish.
This cat
Every,
feels
every,
violated.
every futuristic city looks Blade Runner-ish now, right?
It's so the Blade Runner is so prevalent. It's all over the place. So I think that I think Netflix might be rolled into something. We'll see what happens here. I mean, that's a massive acquisition.
I'm just thinking, like, if I'm sitting on the Disney board of directors
Yeah.
and I'm looking at all these really successful Marvel Netflix shows, I would say, why are we giving these shows to our biggest competitor? Because that's what Netflix is. Once Disney launches their streaming service, it's going to be the biggest competitor to Netflix.
The streaming service is supposed to be family friendly.
But it's still gonna have all the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars.
Those Netflix Marvel shows are not family friendly.
No, I mean all the Marvel movies.
Yes.
And all of Disney's family friendly stuff.
Yeah.
All of their stuff is family friendly, and they're the biggest studio in the world. So it's going to be the biggest streaming service, even if it's family friendly, Vic. That's my point.
Warco A says Microsoft to buy Netflix. You heard it here. I don't see them being an independent thing.
I can
for
see
too
Disney
much
buying
longer.
Microsoft.
I mean, I could see Apple buying Netflix because they're getting into content creation right now.
Would Apple have the money though?
Yeah.
Apple's got like $50 billion, but is that
They-
enough to buy Netflix?
I've heard they're going to be the first $1 trillion company.
No, that's Amazon.
Well,
Amazon's
Apple's getting up there too. It's ridiculous.
They all have too much money.
They have a lot of money and they have a lot of people. It's very interesting days, but yes, we're about to see the cable wars translate over onto streaming services. We're about to see that. I'll tell you, man, the net neutrality being shot down couldn't have come at a worse time because everybody is building their.
If you're one of these companies, though, it's the best time.
It's the best time, yes. But they're building they're stockpiling their ammunition right now.
It's if you're Netflix, it's a bad time. But if you're one of the big studios that's part of the same corporate umbrella as an internet service provider, then it's a great time.
Yes, it's a very
which is why all those companies paid to get
Yes.
these people elected in the first place. But I don't want to get too political.
Oh,
We're out of time.
Wow. That went fast. This game is super cool.
Well, what platforms is this game on, Vic?
It's on everything.
Is it on the Switch?
Not yet.
Well, then I'm not going to play it.
I'm pretty sure it'll come to the Switch.
If I can't play it in bed, I'm not going to play it.
I can't wait for Victor Lucas buying Disney figurines. Do you guys miss getting physical games from devs? Emilio?
I still do once in a while.
I don't, because we have a massive library and they just take up it takes up so much room.
Every time,
I don't mean to sound braggy, but it's there is a better for the environment kind of vibe when we get code, and it's honestly it's just so much more efficient to be able to get you guys content, because that's why we get this stuff to begin with. But there is still an excitement when a collector's edition comes in, or a boxed copy of something that we love comes in. I love that I have the boxed copy of Zelda as opposed to just a code, but yeah, I don't miss them so much, mostly because we have so many games in the EP
I think
library.
the solution is just get the games you really like, get those physical, and then get the little statue that comes with it.
Yes.
But most games, the type of games that you're just going to sell anyway, maybe just get them digital.
Or finish and,
the games you're going to finish and forget about, maybe just get them digital.
Well, and wait till they go down, I guess, in price.
Yeah, or
too.
buy them used from EB Games.
Yeah. Or they always go on sale. That's one thing about the
you mean on the digital store?
The
Yeah,
digital stores.
They go on sale too.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting over the next few years, because that physical to digital thing. People make very lucid comments, though, about the idea of being able to play these games for a lot longer if they have their physical releases, and that's the one sort of scary thing about digital only, right? People closing their stores
But then you have to keep the console forever.
Yes, you do.
And who wants to do that?
How do you know you like it before buying it? That's why you watch us.
If it's made by Nintendo, you'll probably like it.
Oh, listen. Nintendo.
Well, Nintendo makes good games.
Yeah, okay. This episode of Blake brought to you by Nintendo.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, that's it for the EP Live today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to our very special guest, Marissa Roberto. Remember, we've got tons of other content for you to check out. And if you do and you dig it, don't forget to hit subscribe, that little bell. Tell them that you want the notifications. I know sometimes they don't work. And if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.